Hello and welcome back to Kentucky Route Zero TV edition. In the last episode, we had a little bit of a break from the timey-wimey bendy Wendy, and it was nice. We got to relax and listen to a very interesting phone menu, and now we're going to jump into Act 4. Let's launch. Inching ever forward towards the end of this game, we are. Wow. Oh, I see. It's not alive. I was gonna say that elephants don't make that noise. Also, who is in those shorts? Manual 5.4 context /. General wear in the gestural gear mounting apparatus may result in undesirable play between teeth in the context and history state machine gears, causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, skipping. Guess it could be slippage. If left unresolved, gear slop can gradually throw limbs out of alignment, blend motions, and decontextualize gestures. See also sections yada yada general troubleshooting and 5.3 gesture context. Alright, let's go to gesture context. All gestures happen in a context. The set of preceding gestures, the overall orientation, and extended variables such as time of day and interior affect gear angles. Maybe I ought to read it back to front. My savior, our friend here is in a bad way. Any insight? I try to steer clear of high voltage these days. I don't at all blame you, especially down here, on the water, I mean. Sure, it's dangerous, but this is where she lives. And what brings you down to the Echo tonight? Just tagging along. Ha! That doesn't sound like you. What does that mean? Oh, I just mean that you and your Johnny have always been complete since I first met the pair of you, freestanding like a lighthouse. I'm sure your new friends appreciate the company. It's no shame to be lonesome. We picked you up at the Bureau tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. I hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. Yeah, have you been there, the Zero? Oh no, not me. This old river rat steers clear of weird highways. I've been traveling this river for more than half my life, more or less alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years, but I can't say for sure. The water has a peculiar way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, and it's full of strange new people, and some nights I meet an old friend from an unfamiliar shore. I wonder which kind of night this is. I'm still curious about why Junebug is a robot, but I guess we won't address it. Act 4, Scene 1. The Mucky Mammoth. Hey, they mentioned that in the tourism thing. Cool. Oh, nice. Let's go this way. Let's talk to Kate. How's that cold river spray treating you? I thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know. Hard on the eyes. It still irritates mine a little, and I'm piloting a tugboat through it 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea? Horse mushroom, then. It's in a little green box with a drawing of a moth on it. There's a jar of greening goat's foot under the table. Keep it cool and dark. Get a solid fingerful and let it steep with turkey tail fungus 30 seconds, then throw it out the window. How far are we from Dogwood Drive? The Echo's dicey tonight. Bad luck for you. Expect waves and diversions. Dogwood Drive is by the Silo mail stop, but we may need to spend some time on the indirect route before we hit your stop, okay? And there's other business. Mail to drop off, garbage to pick up, and a few favors to execute, all dotted on the riverbanks from here to there. I hope you enjoy the trip on our little Mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities. Fresh air, cozy bunks, hot tea, the video room. There are some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual, I mean. Weird. Watch out that VCR doesn't take your hand off, though. It's untrustworthy. What kind of weird tapes? There's one with this woman. She's just like standing there talking, but you can't really hear her. And there's this awful hum. See for yourself. It's down there somewhere. Hey, do me a favor. Go ask Will how the repairs are going and if he needs anything. We're coming up on the next stop here. Just refueling and picking up a few things. I could grab a bolt or some wire or something. Whatever he needs. Well, eyes on the road. Okay, let's go to Will. Everybody talks about the weird hum, but, well, I should say the awful hum, because everyone describes it as being unpleasant. There's a woman talking. I'm going to assume that's Weaver. I don't know why we can only see her through the TVs, though, but all right. Will, for we are mold and whiskey fed. Oh, wet gears. Wet gears? Probably. Who knows? First thing I tried, anyway. Down here by this little blue box, I took all the gears out and dried each one by hand, and then I loaded them back in again. That took care of the grinding sound, but her trunk keeps doing that sparking, clinking, weeping thing. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend. You know how it is, don't you? Kate was asking if you needed anything when we stopped. Well, I don't know. Scratch ticket? How do you two know each other? So, ever walk through rolling farmland? Just drove, I guess. Right. Nobody does it, unless there's land to farm. I mean, they'll walk from barn to tractor or tractor to truck, you know. Well, I sure did. I slipped under or over fences, and I walked barefoot with the seeds when they were just planted, and tilled the earth with my toes. Hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Did you know I'm a classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal-gripping toes. It doesn't matter. A minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Arta to Zola at the university. Well, some shitty governor cut state funding for our department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through walls or in dangerous places. I even operated the soundboard at the student theater. I left my shoes there, at the university. There was a protest. Walk without shoes for something important or tragic. I ended up by the shore, and soon I was drifting along the Echo. I ran for a while above ground then. It doesn't anymore, but I prefer subterranean waters anyway. Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear. I try to help with maintenance. I drop off the mail and pick up the trash. On occasion, I take the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anymore. I listen to the river stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, I'll just keep drawing gears, I guess. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, slow down. It's slippery up on deck. Do you have batteries? Yeah, of course. What for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needs a battery. Oh, fun. Well, Shannon searches her pockets. Here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these should fit. Thank you. Cool. All right, I can exit or talk to Will again. I'm going to talk to Will again. Oh, it's me now. I'm Ezra. Hey, what's up? You got your battery, small man. Go get you some tape. All right. I'm just going to go over here. The imagery in this game is pretty cool, too. Like, even this big elephant. But I'm wondering if the Echo is called the Echo because it's kind of like an echo of the Zero, you know? The Zero is this disconnected, almost wormhole-like space that it's hard to navigate unless you know where you're going. And the Echo River is like the reverberation of, you know, the Zero. So you can float alongside it without actually being a part of it, but it still affects you somehow with its waters being similar to like all the waves. I don't know. I know what I'm thinking in my mind. It's not coming out very eloquently. That's not the point. What dog is this? Because that dog does not look like our dog. That looks like a different dog. Interesting. Okay, well, let's go in. Let's go in this door. Oh, cool. Fun. All right, musicians. I'm going to talk to them, but I want to see what's going on. Am I in pajamas? What am I wearing? All right. Sup, musicians? Really? You were entranced. You don't remember this? That's okay. We've all seen a lot of concerts. Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right, at the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. That was fast. Got the batteries? Let's see. Perfect, this one will do. So you hit this button here to record. Hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. I bet you'll find a lot of good sounds just around the tugboat. There's plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen. For the better, I mean. Are you playing a concert tonight? I can record that. Yeah, Clara came here all the way from Lithuania just to do this Echo River gig. It's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, then Atlanta, then over to the coast. Brutal. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it, and Johnny was moved. Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the Rum Colony. Kate said she usually stops off there. Well, that's ideal. I'm supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts about 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast at the Rum Colony, ma'am. I bet she's still there. I hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, it's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything he wants to say. I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you can help me out. Oh, fun. Okay. Let's record Kitty Cat. What you gotta say, kiddums? What are you drinking, Conway? I see. Very important stuff. Conway, why is your arm glowing? I'm a little concerned about that, because you didn't injure your arm, buddy. Huh. Also, why are you stomping around like that? You know, it's the strangest thing. Can't remember why I came up here. Neither can I. Damn noisy river. It's just that thing about... What was it? When you walk through a door. When you go to the kitchen for something, and as soon as you pass from one room into another, you forget what you wanted. You have to walk back out just to remember. Like you left a part of your brain behind. Hey, I wonder if I could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Conway cranes his neck over the railing. Looks cold down there. And dark. You weren't in the cabin long. Get any sleep? I had a weird dream. Yeah, that's when you get the strangest dreams. When you nod off, right? Just kind of dip your toes into sleep. Some weird image floats by and takes a nibble. Shannon leans over the railing and looks at the river below. I don't want to talk about the fact that he's drinking, but he really shouldn't be. There's all kinds of trash down here. Could have fallen off the hull back there. I think that kid was playing on the trash barge earlier. Should I be worried? I'm fine. Let's let him sit with it for a while. I was talking about Ezra. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. Fine, you can ask it. One question. I don't know if I want to bring up his alcoholism. But I do want to know what caused this change, especially considering that his arm is kind of missing. I thought you didn't drink. Well, I didn't. I mean, I did, then I didn't, and then I did again. That's how it always goes. I drift out, finally wind up back at Lizette's with my head between my legs, saying, never again. 15 months this last time. I think I hung on because I knew there wouldn't be for much longer be anywhere to go back to. I'm sorry, what? What was that sentence? She went to live with her sister now, and she probably won't remember me for long anyway. One time she picked me up out of a ditch by the road, blackout drunk at dawn. I came around later that night. She'd taken care of me. I told her I didn't deserve it, and she said I didn't have to deserve it. So you'll go to the distillery instead? I've got to repay my debt. Hell, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you've got to settle up. That's why it's such a damn shame when people go sudden. Hey! Now we're boating on the Zero. That's cute. I'm sure I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. The problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling you half of the stories we hear. Kate told me that I ought to have been a photographer. She said, "You have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there, and that's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway." Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river, most of them I've picked up second, third, or fourth hand, and so on. Listening, see? Now, I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain, and the whole community brings their insight to bear on the brittle facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him, and I suspect sampled his wares. One night, when I was working on the Mucky Mammoth, we picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to a mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time, a young woman, a small boy, and an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at a gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. Okay. Should I go with them to the gas station? Because I'm wondering if me looking at the map means that I'll be able to travel where I want. All right, let's pick this. That he wants to stay on the tugboat and look around the map room. Maybe. Act 4, Scene 2. I'm not sure about that choice. The Mucky Mammoth. All right. Ezra watches the lake drift by. He sees a boat covered with silver frogs, a floating gas station, 5 small boats tethered together with silver rope, a small island covered with barnacles. What a relief. Thanks for taking the wheel. Our secret, okay? How do you know which way to turn? I just keep my eyes open. That's the most important part. Speaking of which... Oh, hey, there's a gas station. I was hoping we'd cross paths soon. It just kind of drifts around. You never know where you'll meet it. As you can see by this dial right here, our fuel situation is pretty desperate. I have a bad habit of letting that needle spend a lot of time in the red zone. We should only be docked at the gas station for a few minutes refueling. You might just want to stay aboard. So, you like boats? Yeah, my dad had a boat for a while. Oh, what kind of boat? It had a joystick to drive it. We put it in a pond near our old house. Ah, I see. So this one's a little bigger. Same idea, though. So, what else did I neglect to explain earlier? This area here is called the Wheelhouse. All these gauges and controls help me understand what's going on with the Mucky Mammoth and her hull. This is a compass, but it doesn't work very well down here for some reason. I just go by landmarks, basically, and lights. Did you see those 2 lights on the side of the boat? A red one and a green one? All the other boats have them too. Some are different colors or in different configurations. If you cross paths with someone, right away I can work out what kind of boat they're in and what direction they're going, even in the dark. It's all about looking up here. The other half of piloting this boat happens down in the map room. Speaking of which... Kate peers out the window. Have we passed the big rock that looks like a dinosaur yet? Let's see. A little island with a bunch of ducks, tall building covered in Christmas lights, cliff with a bunch of words painted on it. That sounds interesting. Oh, the story cliff. I don't know who wrote those words up there, but they tell a story about, well, it's hard to say what exactly it's about. It's a story of some people and animals and their adventures. Sometimes, if I'm running ahead of schedule, I like to drop anchor there and read for a while. The nice thing about the story cliff is you can start reading anywhere you want. There's no beginning or end, just a bunch of middle. That's weird. Should have definitely passed Dinosaur Rock by now. Kate looks out the window. Oh wait, there it is up ahead. See? Wow, that's my new favorite rock. It's great, right? What was your old favorite rock? I kind of want to talk about his family because I don't know what happened to his parents. Like they're missing, but how, you know? So let's stick to that. A rock my aunt got in the mall from Arizona. It was bright green, and she said it had good energy. Cool. Strange, though. According to my charts, we should have passed Dinosaur Rock before the story cliff. But that's okay. Sometimes the charts need updating. Hey, Will is down in the map room right now. Could you run down and help him adjust the charts to move the story cliff so it comes a little earlier on our route than Dinosaur Rock? The map room is down below deck on the lower level, right next to the sleeping quarters. I'll get on the intercom and let him know you're coming. Okay, cool. Hopefully that means I can navigate. Oh, wait. Let me record you first, though. All right, girl, say what you gotta say. I'm recording. Anything? Good, good. That was useful to me. Let us proceed to the main deck. Oh, hi, Conway. Hey! What's up? You look like you're about to fall asleep. No, I don't think I could ever sleep on a river. You're right, though. It's been a long day. I should maybe find some coffee to go with all this beer. Or just move on up to the real stuff. Doesn't weigh you down as much, you know? Nah, of course you don't. Hey, what am I talking about? Who knows? Okay, bye! Oh. Oh, there we go. What is that noise? Wow, this is harder than it looks. Yeah, it takes a certain kind of ear. Oh, like perfect pitch? Do you have that? Not really that. It's more like muscle memory. When I'm playing the theremin, I kind of hear with my hands. I must sound ridiculous. No, I think I get it. Oh, you don't want to record that? Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you. Actually, Ezra, it sounds absolutely terrible. Oh my God, please. Please, for the love of God, get to the map room. Salutations, small man. Kate says you have an adjustment for our charts. Good timing. I'm just checking my copies. That's how we keep our charts up to date. As we pass through a section of the river or the lake, I draw a new copy of the map and make adjustments for anything we see that doesn't match. Will points to a small drawing on the map. So, this is where we have Dinosaur Rock marked right now. The little dinosaur drawing. I drew that. What kind of dinosaur is it? Oh, you know, just a dinosaur. Will points to another small drawing. And this here is where we thought the story cliff was. But now I guess we've got to move it back a bit. But how far, I wonder? Any ideas? Anything else you remember about when you saw the story cliff? The water got really dark for a little bit. Ah, well, that put the story cliff somewhere in here. That's the only part of the chart before Dinosaur Rock where the lake deepens noticeably. Good work. That should do it for the new copy. Oh, I made some other corrections. Tucked in the banks a little, made this section deeper, and left off a shipwreck that must have washed away or been scavenged into splinters. Of course, it means a lot of clutter, all these old copies. Say, Will gestures to a pile of old maps. I was just about to throw this stack out. Maybe you'd like to hang on to one? They're out of date, but they could be fun to look at. These are mostly river charts, I think. Take a look through and see if one of them catches your eye. Ezra digs through the pile of maps. Do I want a faded old one, a crisp clean one, or a rough torn one? I was gonna say I want a rough torn one, because that probably means it's like very worn and interesting, but the fact that it's torn means that the interesting part might be gone. Then I was gonna say I'd take the faded one because it's really old, but it's faded, so that means I might not be able to make out what's on it. And the crisp clean map, I mean, come on, that's boring. Maybe for story purposes, though, I should pick it. Because again, the reason I came down here was because I was hoping that it would allow me to actually travel along the Echo River. So if I pick the crisp clean map, maybe that'll allow me to see everything cleanly. So my canon answer is that I, as Ezra, want the rough torn map, but me game-playing lady version is going to take the crisp clean one in case it has something to do with navigation. That one I found wrapped in plastic, quite well preserved. I wrapped it up like that so the chalk wouldn't smear. Must have lost my pencil that day, I don't remember. Here, turn around, like, oh, there you go. There's no real idea of north down here, magnetic or otherwise, so we just hold the maps with the current pointing down. The river curves clockwise. There are no islands marked, but a few other landmarks are indicated with chalk circles. That one was a story cliff, I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay, so I get to examine all of them, fine. The edges of the map are torn in gentle strips, probably by an idle hand and an absent mind. Oh yeah, I remember that day. Slow currents, boring. Not that I mind. It's healthy to get a little bored sometimes. A long tear runs in a clockwise curve along the paper, through the middle of the river. The two sides are held together by paper clips, woven into the paper like stitches. Okay, and let's look at the old one. The river curves clockwise around a few small islands. A note is scribbled along the margin. Islands just below the surface, only visible under bright light. They come and go. The islands, that is. I still mark them if I see them. Well, now that's curious. I think I want the old faded one. Well, thanks for your help with the chart adjustments. Our next stop is a bar called the Rum Colony. I guess you're not much of a barfly, but you might like to run around on the beach. And the decor is... well, I'd be curious to hear what you think of it. The gas station isn't anchored to anything. We might run into it anywhere along the river. Kate just starts looking for it when she's low on fuel, and the Echo provides. It's not usually on the lake, though. That was strange. Kate likes to wait until the very last minute to refuel. But yeah, she's a thrill seeker, and you'd never guess it. She seems so centered, doesn't she? I've always thought so. Maybe that's why she enjoys rocking the boat a little. She knows she can stay upright through a little bad weather, so she can just relax and enjoy the chaos. Well, I admire her confidence. But there was plenty of chaos to go around that night already, with that ugly storm upstairs, though we didn't know the extent of the flood damage yet at that point. Anyway, my mechanical musician friends went ashore for a bit too, looking for some snack foods. Kate doesn't stock anything aboard the Mucky Mammoth that doesn't grow wild, and it's not to everyone's taste. Or maybe just to stretch their limbs and charge their batteries. They came back looking kind of confused, though. I don't mean confused like... well, not like when somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, but you feel like you should, and you get that kind of alarmed blankness in your mind's eye. Not like that. They look confused like when you see two kinds of motor oil, and they cost the same, and you've never heard of either of them, and you read all the text on both packages, but all that new information just makes the choice seem even more impossible. You might be inclined to flip a coin, but how could you with something that important? Naturally, I assume they met the gas station attendant, a man as anonymous and itinerant as the place itself. I assume he talked their ear off. Everyone on this river does. But I know that fellow well enough to know he wouldn't want us reminiscing on him now. So they came back aboard, Mammoth refueled, and we ambled on toward the Rum Colony. Why is the rum always gone? Okay... oh man, I don't like having to make these choices. But then again, I guess I could play this episode again on my own time if I want to see what happens. I was going to say that originally I wanted to go to the gas station in case it happened to be Eku's Oils, because I still have to go there to see Carrington before his show. But then I did the other thing because of the map and ended up being wrong about that. So this time, even though I really want to go to the Rum Colony and see what it's like, I really think I should look at the video to see what the heck is going on with it, because I'm pretty sure it's Weaver. Act 4, Scene 3. The Mucky Mammoth. Oh, I don't get to see it, but she did. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Let's go down the line, why not? Watch birds. I turn my fan off for a second. Blue-black morning swings across the screen. The birdwatcher tramps through dewy grass. He stops with a wet grunt and rests the camera on a pile of rocks. Birds from Great Distances, episode 12, appears briefly on screen. He twists the lens by hand, pushing the frame past trees, onto the road, and coming to a halt zoomed in on a fuzzy, fist-sized artifact resting on the momentary stroke of a telephone wire. Shannon and the birdwatcher observe. He breathes heavily, and she holds her breath, like she's afraid he might hear. Afraid of distracting him or of being discovered and contaminating his perfect isolation. Traffic picks up, indifferent. As the sky lightens, the black smudge in the center of the frame gradually becomes more prominent, but never in any greater detail. Not bad. All right. Eject. You know, you could just leave the light on. I mean, I'm assuming you can see either way. Let's look at the funeral thing. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily in a thin, blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Munfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call, someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900-square-foot ranch-style home on 2 acres at a dead end, backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up to Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to the 2 wild turkeys, picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched, silent and still, as the huge birds forged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. True that, Shannon. Now let's look at the questionable thing. Well, maybe we'll look at the other thing. I'll leave this for last in case that causes her to get up. Well, let's look at weather. It's really interesting, too, that the developers have set things up in a way that makes it ritualistic, because it does add another level of immersion to it. You know, you become invested in that familiarity. Anyway, the on-screen title identifies this program as The History of Weather, Volume 3, Drought. Over footage of a dry riverbed, the program's narrator explains the differences between modern drought and ancient drought. The narrator proposes that modern drought may hardly be considered weather at all, since its severity and behavior are so influenced by human activity. Boring. Commentary. Social commentary. Haven't done that in a long time. Oh, come on, it's gonna keep adding stuff? I want to know about the science. But let's do art first. At first, she thinks the video might be paused, but on closer inspection, she can see the edges of the frame shrinking inwards around the chairs, desk, and loose gray furniture of a sterile waiting room. She watches for a while. She's not sure for how long, several minutes. The zoom tightens, so gradually she sometimes forgets it's happening at all, and finally rests on an oscillating desk fan. She ejects the tape before the next part of the triptych begins. Okay. Sounds like something Lula would have done. We're gonna look up some science, a thing I desperately need more of in my life these days. It looks like Will, though much younger, reclined on a sofa and taking calls. His arm, draped over the back of the couch, holds a bottle of something clear. People call in with stories of their encounters with the supernatural. Will offers little commentary or response. He acknowledges them. Sometimes he interrupts to clarify or repeat something back to them. Mostly, he just listens and pulls from that clear glass bottle. A handmade banner strung above the couch reads, "I believe you." Will? All right, trivia thing. And again, I'm not going through all of these things because I'm a completionist. In a lot of other games, I would skip things. In this game specifically, I don't want to. The words tip of your tongue and a phone number are occasionally superimposed on the screen. A few dozen people sit in bleachers, shouting out ideas, loosely moderated by a short woman with a microphone and laser pointer. One caller is trying to remember the name of an old friend she hasn't seen in years. It starts with a consonant. It's full of consonants, actually. There may be one or two vowels. Sounds long, but she doesn't remember having had any trouble spelling it at any point. The friend had brown hair? That's probably not helpful. Another caller is trying to remember a verb that means to make oneself vulnerable. Something like to expose oneself, but not quite that. To become emotionally, spiritually vulnerable, like with a lover or a poem. A third caller just knows there was something he was supposed to do tonight. He offers some biographical background, a narrative of his day. He's unemployed, has no real hobbies, and has already eaten. Few ideas from the bleachers. Lordy. Shopping. A woman sits at a card table with a lamp, notepad, and a beige multi-line telephone. A scrolling marquee reads, "Swap, shop, buy, sell, trade, or want to buy, call the broker." And then a phone number, repeating without pause. Eddie has fresh eggs to trade for a basil plant. A dozen eggs for one plant, which is a steal. Eddie's eggs are good eggs. Sadie has a bag of fine shells. No reasonable offer will be refused. Christopher is looking for a scrub plane in decent shape. Doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat from some oak that's been air drying in a barn for 20, maybe 30 years. And while it's true he could get the job done without it since he's got a nice heavy jack plane his grandfather used to use, he'd just as soon not fuss with grinding a camber onto it. And anyway, he has a little extra capital from a swap earlier in the week and wouldn't mind putting it down on a decent scrub plane before the cash burns a hole through his pocket. I know I could have read that in like a stream of consciousness the way that was probably supposed to be read, but my throat hurts a little bit. Probably because I've been playing this game for like 3 hours straight. Carla is looking to trade typing services for calligraphy services, or vice versa. That's hilarious. The broker takes notes and switches lines, but never speaks, drunk on the hum of commerce. Fun. More birds, might as well, since that's the only thing left. And then we'll look at the question marks. It's raining heavily as the title Birds from Great Distances episode 27 flashes on screen. She knows by the sound, the volley of rainwater on mud, tree branches, the rusted bed of an old pickup, and on the birdwatcher's own skin and hair. He swears under his breath. She can hear the rain there too, in his wet breath and the wet exclamation of his palm, slopping the water from his forehead and shoulders. The camera is pointed at a cedar shed with one hinged door angled erratically in the storm. From this distance, it's hard to tell if it's been damaged or simply left open. When the door swings wide, she can see that the shed is full of small boards, scraps maybe, or rough-cut pieces meant for very small projects, and then stacked carelessly on shelves, in piles, quickly sorted and then forgotten. And there's the bird, a blue ball taking shelter on the shed floor, nested in scrap wood. Was that what she was watching when I clicked into the scene? Because she was saying, Alright guys, it's time for the question, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be Weaver. Could've watched more birds, but really want to see what this is. That awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking. And, as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent, tragic horses. Go underground, as deep as you can go. The air is cool, and the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, you're surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mail. School. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Huh. Interesting. That's kind of creepy. Her saying, like, I think this is where you want to be, and you go somewhere, and then you're surrounded by the dead. I don't think that's where anyone wants to be. No, it was only a few notes. Slow and sad, like funeral music, you know? I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me. Unburdened. Oh, hello. Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song, but neither of us have heard it for years. Will just found the mechanism. In the mammoth belly, hidden in gritty, matted fur. It's like a big music box. A slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellows in her bowels. But some of the pins are rusted and worn away. Easy to replace, if we could ever remember what the notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? Where did all those videos come from? People just left them on board. Passengers, I mean. They used to all be movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made. But that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random, I think, and picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP, community television, you know? They've got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. I'm sure you've seen it. Oh, yes. I don't appreciate how I said that. And if there's no tape in the machine when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound, like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up. Please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. You were in one of the videos. I believe you had said. Where was that taped? You had a TV show? I never knew. No, I don't believe I ever have. The title sounds familiar, but more like it's something I heard about, like secondhand information. They let anybody on there. That's the whole idea. Community television, or public access, they call it. I would say it's possible that I did the show you saw and then forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. The studio? No, I can't say that I remember where WEVP is, sorry. You should meet Dashiell. He did a lot of volunteer work for WEVP in the early days, wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now, in fact. I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do. Ask for Dashiell. I will do that, but I will also try my best to see something else. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the Rum Colony, and I do enjoy a drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay aboard and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. Ezra told me about the dark corners. See, that beach is lit by a congregation of amber torches stuck in the sand. They mix the torch fuel with citronella oil. It keeps the bugs away, which keeps the bats away. But the light doesn't fall very far from the flame. The rest is shadows and sandy echoes, and that's the part Ezra wanted to tell me about. He said he found a treasure. I knew better than to pry. Oh. What did I make Ezra say he found? Oh, if we're talking about the Rum Colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that's not the case. The Rum Colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program, but a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day, and most of the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all this is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though. Kind, trustworthy, and he mixes a strong Mai Tai, if that's your thing. Well, okay, that's pretty wicked, man. So I haven't been off the boat this entire time, so I am actually going to go to the telephone exchange this time, and then I'll end the episode. Clara, Kate, and I stopped to do some business by telephone. Act 4, Scene 4. A phone. Wow, it's literally just a phone. I guess we're gonna be here for a minute. Looks like they have a few calls to make. What are you gonna do? Yeah, that's a good question. I just thought I'd stretch my legs, on firm ground. Didn't realize this place would be floating on barrels. Back when I was driving long hauls, that's the real big trucks now, I sometimes wouldn't leave the cab but to pump gas. I took my meals in there, slept in there, I changed my socks in there, the whole thing. So, one time I was hauling a bunch of big spools, telephone wire I think, actually, up from California to Washington State. You know where that is? It's way out, on a map. It's kind of to the left of here, more or less. In between California and Washington, there's a place called Oregon, and you can't pump your own gas there. They have a guy who does it called a gas jockey, and you'd better not even open your door or they get all suspicious. I drove through California and into Washington, and I refueled in the middle, in Oregon. And so I didn't set foot out of my truck for a whole day. When I came out of that cab, the ground rushed up like it missed me. Gave me a big old kiss right on the chin, right here. What I'm saying is... hell, I forget. What am I talking about? It's important to take breaks.
Exactly. Don't forget that. Don't say I never taught you anything. Well, guess I'll head back aboard. Might see if I can find any of the good stuff stashed in maybe in the spice cabinet? Maybe in the medicine cabinet. That's where it belongs. Hell, who am I talking to? Don't listen to me, kid. I'll see you in a few.
Oh, Conway, I really feel bad that you've been drinking again. Oh, okay. Y'all just swam to the... All right, fine. Guess I'll have a sip of my seltzer.
I remember going to a house in a rustic county, Maine. I was 2. We were moving, and we were driving up in a white Nissan station wagon with faux wood paneling. And it was the first time that I'd seen the house that I was going to live in for the next 7 years.
Weird.
Being washed in the bathroom sink.
Weirder.
I was just parking my car. I had to parallel park it. The street that I live on was full, but it just got cold today for like the first time in a long time. So I had the heat on. And whenever you have the heat on in an old car, it definitely smells a certain way. It smells kind of like, it almost smells, you can like smell that it's hot, and you can feel it too, but the smell that it is like from the car itself, like from the engine.
I don't know if you can hear that, but it says it smells kind of like, you can smell that it's hot, you can feel it too. The smell is from the car itself, like from the engine. There's been a lot of smoking going on in that car, so it's not exactly a pleasant smell, but it's definitely a strong, and it's definitely there. With the windows down, you can also smell that it's cold, so you get both. That feeling together is super familiar if you've been in old cars a lot. Okay. Anyway, I was parking, and I had to go in and out about it like 3 times, but when I finally finished parking, it was perfect. Both wheels against the curb. And that's when I had the double memory of when I first learned how to drive. And my mom taught me how to parallel park. And she told me the story about when her dad, who was a motorcycle cop, taught her how to parallel park. Every time she parallel parked, he would take out a dime. And if he could fit the dime between the wheel of her car and the curb of the street, then she had to do it again. She didn't do that for me, but every time that I got upset about having to do it again, she would tell me that at least I didn't have to be a dime's distance away from the curb. I learned how to drive in the fall, and I got that smell a lot during that time. I don't know when my mom learned to drive. Okay. I hate to talk over whoever these people are, or it could be the devs themselves. I don't know, but I can't hear them, so I'm going to assume that you can't either, so I'm just going to read it. Oh, probably going to school. I can't sleep because the trees are scraping against my window, and it reminds me of a tongue scraping against my skin. What? I'm about to cross an ocean, and I worry about my dog. I can't sleep anywhere near a place where gas is sold. Not when it's being sold. but when it's not being sold. It was tough to hold on to the snake, but yeah, my hands are pretty damp. Oh! Is Will the person who runs the tourism for Yada Yada Magyada? That's so cool! I remember the number 10 in a flashcard with a turkey on it. It had a yellow background.
The frogs are too loud.
The frogs are too loud. Not a whole lot. Guess I was walking. I was in a stroller in treetop parks in Florida. My mother accidentally pushed me into a spider web and I freaked out a lot. I think that's the first thing I remember. We were sent for. I keep hearing these noises whenever I close my eyes. It's like a bell's ringing, but the bells aren't metal bells or ceramic bells, the kind of bells that you normally hear. They're like this weird, I can't even describe the material. It's just resonance, just ringing, resonance. And as soon as I open my eyes again, there's nothing. I remember driving across an old dirt road. My birthday party at McDonald's in Hawaii. I got a toy that I didn't like and I broke it. Clicking. Getting caught by my neck in the jungle gym. Or maybe I was crying so loud at the monster truck rally that my parents had to take me out and they missed the show. One of those two. Huh? Seriously? Whether I wear boots or sneakers, my feet always feel damp, cold and damp. Well, I was hoping that you'd be able to tell me why I can't sleep. And it seems like it's been a long time, and it seems like it's time to sleep now. End of messages. Whoa. Super twist. Don't you go diving in too. It's actually really cold and kind of dangerous. Did he say where he was going? He's looking for the good stuff. I see. Still thirsty. Kate keeps some diet soda in the broom closet, but you didn't hear it from me. It's next to the bleach. Bring a flashlight. Oh no, I don't think that's what he's looking for. So, any important messages? Every single one. Where are you headed tonight, small man? Yeah, I think that maybe the developers, again, either they or the people supporting the game, like they got them to record those messages as a thank you to them. And like that would be really sweet that they say like, yeah, every single one was important. So yeah, that was, I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I think that would be sweet. I'm looking for my family. Looking for a new family or a family you lost track of? My folks disappeared. We met Ezra earlier tonight, and he's been very helpful. I'm hoping we can return the favor once we get back above ground. Poor kid was sleeping at the bus station and just lost track of his folks. He'll be all right. He's more at home down here than any of us. Trust me, I have an eye for it. I have an eye for the end of an episode, so I'd like to get to that. Looks like everybody's going to make their phone calls first, so we're just going to go with it. Oh, I didn't even pay attention. I looked away and was just literally staring at Will, so I have no idea what was happening in the split screen. Kate, thanks for calling. Hope I didn't wake you up. No, I can't really get comfortable enough to sleep anymore except in the car. Oh, not driving, in the passenger seat, reclined. Eric drove me around the reservoir this afternoon. I got an hour or two in. I couldn't get settled in bed, so I was just watching TV, some cooking show about high-concept junk food, and everyone from my high school chemistry class was there, making cupcakes out of old bicycle parts. I think I might have dozed off a bit, actually. Honestly, this baby can come out whenever he wants. I'm completely over it. Good for you. You sound really confident. Oh, it's all an act. I'm actually... The phone line makes a horrible sound. Whoa. God, the phones down here are such a mess. Hey, Kate, I really appreciate you checking in. I have your pager number, and so does Eric, just in case I'm too, distracted or whatever. I'll let you go. I should try to eat something. Freaking reishi, man. That's a damn mushroom. Reishi will help with your joint pain. Okay, thanks. Maybe I'll just chew on some ice. Talk to you soon, Kate, hopefully. Look at Kate's little shape. She's so cute. Just checking in on a client. Did I mention I'm a birth doula? Oh! Is everything okay? Everything's great. Sounds like she's ready. Some women just know. It's amazing. Others are caught totally by surprise. Wow. How does that fit with being a tugboat captain? Some women choose to come labor on the boat, actually. For the rest, I have a backup, just in case I can't go back to dry land in time. I've been lucky and only had to lean on her a handful of times out of several hundred berths. You never believe how many people are just born all the time. Your friend went back aboard? Don't worry. He doesn't know about your soda stash. You were sworn to secrecy. It's okay. I got rid of all that junk food anyway. I want a star thistle and grapefruit cleanse. All right, anybody else need to use the phone, or can we hop on out? Glad you phoned. I was just thinking of you. Sorry I didn't call this week. I've been traveling constantly. That's fine. I visited the hospital yesterday. I went to visit Uncle Andreas, but they moved him. Now he's in a hospice care facility run by some old Polish nun. Everyone says it's very nice. I asked him about visiting, and they said he didn't want any visitors. He's just being stubborn. Yes, it's typical of Andreas. I was thinking maybe if you came to visit, he would see you. All those afternoons you two would go drinking beers by the river. Don't you think it would mean a lot to him if he could say goodbye to you in person? Oh, Nadia, I'd never make it back in time anyway. It's true, you're a long way from home, Clara. I suppose it can't be helped. Oh, here's Mother at the door. We're going to try again to see him. I hope the tour is going well. Love you, be careful. All right, that's everyone. It's my sister back home. She's very depressing to me this morning. My Uncle Andreas is terminally ill and refusing visitors, and Nadia's making a stir about it. It doesn't bother you that your uncle is refusing visitors? He's a bear of a man. Wild animals. It's what they do. When it's time to die, they wander off into the forest alone. No, I said it wrong. They don't wander. They make a pilgrimage. We must always take the dying at their word. Their motivations are beyond our understanding. The older man, he's swimming back to the Mammoth? No emergency, I hope. He should really just try some licorice root tree. Tree? Okay, some root tree? My God, can I say that sentence? He should really just try some licorice root tea. Oh, I did it, okay. Indigestion. Brandon approaches. I don't suppose any of you folks are headed past the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Not on this run, but we'll be coming back this way in a few hours. Well, I may still be here then. It's no big deal. I'll just hang out and read or something until it's time to head back to work. Hey, you folks are traveling with that old guy, right? With the leg? Is he okay? I saw him earlier tonight. He came by the storage facility for some files. He totally bit it on the staircase. Oh, it's that guy. All right, I thought he looked familiar. He's okay though, right? I think so. I don't know him too well. He's a passenger. Cool. Hey, I guess he's well enough to swim. Well, have a good night. Or, morning, almost. Oh my God. Is the phone supposed to ring? Oh, is that you? Who are you calling for? It is you. I was trying to call a friend in Chicago, a lighting designer. The phone lines are acting up tonight. I believe it must be the storm. I heard it surge through Bowling Green just a few hours ago, sweeping telephone poles across the road in a tangled fan of kindling. Oh, I think that's not the voice I gave him. Well, maybe you can help me out. I reckon you can. Here's the score. The performance is at dawn. We're coming right up to it. None of the cast is here yet. That's okay. Hell, I'll enlist the audience if I have to. I think that's the voice I gave him. The stage crew, likewise, are delayed by bad weather. They may not make it in time, and they've got the props and the costumes with them. Well, I've done more with less. Good theater is always dangerous. My experimental stage production of The Death of the Hired Man can survive those tribulations, but there is one element still missing that is far more crucial. We can have theater without props, without stage setting, even without actors. But there is no theater without light. Of course, my production, experimental though it may be, aspires to emulate its source material. Frost's poem is framed by 3 sources of light and their effects on its subject, Mary. First, Mary stares a lamp flame on a table in front of her, while waiting for her husband, Warren, to come home. Second, she distracts herself from a painful conversation by examining the moonlight on her apron. Third, she watches a little silver cloud pass over the moon, dimming it, as Warren finds Silas dead in the next room. And yet, despite this rich tableau of moonlight, we perform at dawn. Outside, I welcome the challenge, but how to meet it? What I mean is, where in this oily gas station by the highway at sunrise is the moon? Where do you see it? In your mind's eye? What's the first solution that appears? Okay, let's see. Hang up a photo, have an actor play it dressed in white, or tell everyone to close their eyes and imagine the moon. I feel like having an actor play the moon is a very conventional way to go about it. Since this is an unconventional production, maybe they should tell everyone to close their eyes.
It's minimalist, a bit sentimental, but it addresses the issues head-on, which I like. No hasty aesthetic papering over, just concede the issue and invite everyone to develop the solution. I can already imagine the reviews. It may prove a bit controversial. You have a natural sensitivity for this kind of work. No, and availability. It's your strongest quality.
That's my strongest quality? I'm available?
It's a quality I feel is habitually sold short. Keeping oneself available, open to the vagaries of chance and experience, requires constant maintenance. It's a quality we have to nurture in ourselves. Our natural instinct is to close ourselves off from risk and opportunity. A theologian I once happened to meet said, "Why make art? To quiet the mind, make it acceptable to divine influences." That's a kind of availability few of us ever attain. Well, I hope you make it to the premiere, though it's coming up very quickly, and I know you're still traveling. If so, I'll see you here at dawn. Safe travels, and thank you, as always, for your insight.
Thank you, as always, Carrington, because I really want to end this episode. Ah, shit. All right, I'm gonna just stop it at the end of the next dialogue, like wherever it lets me. So let's just see where my little boatie goes. That right there is Ratcliffe Monuments. If you ever need a headstone card, for a loved one I mean. Oh, what did I call it, Ratcliffe? Violet Ratliff, never married, nevertheless bore 6 children. Earl, Kelly, Barb, Ron, young Earl, and Beauty. And for each birth she locked the doors of Ratliff Monuments for only 1 day, even with young Earl, when she was in labor for 36 hours. Well, that's what folks said, and I met her, and I believe them. She had the unyielding disposition of a cliffside. None of Violet's children had any desire to go into the monument making. Barb was never very good with her hands. She ended up reading scripts in a call center where she only occasionally has to press a button or take down an order. Mostly she talks and listens, which suits her well enough. The run of the shop fell at last to young Earl, the only Ratliff still at home when his mother finally passed at 82, and who then had the honor of engraving her headstone. He's done well for the most part. His craftsmanship has suffered over time. It's his hands, cut and bruised by missed strokes, shaken apart from the inside too. He learned from Violet, when striking a block of stone with a mallet and chisel, to absorb the extra shock right into his bones so as to keep the apparatus straight and carve a perfect line. He spends his time outside work just caring for his hands, soaking his bones in salt water, doing little exercises and stretches. It won't improve the straightness of his marks, but it might put off the day he finds himself unable to carve a line at all, scribbling on rocks like his ancestors. That's the day he has nightmares about. He dreads it like death, though he makes no distinction between the two. They did say we're gonna dock somewhere, so hopefully it's somewhere where I will feel comfortable exiting, because I just don't trust the autosave on the Echo River. At least not in the middle of dialogue or anything, you know? Shannon, Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. We'll just go there, and then I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it's gonna save. Act 4, Scene 5. The Radvansky Center. Oh, and of course it's something where time is running. What the hell, game? I love you, but stop it. And it's still running. Shit. Bags isn't feeling well. Long night. Poor kitty. What are you watching? Security tape from last night. Darryl left the lights on again. Should we slash his tires? I'll leave a stern note on his desk. Spare the rod. Spare the rod. What are we doing today? Right. This is weird. You know that old vending machine? The one that only has tomato juice? No, the old one they just stopped refilling. Remember we rolled it out into the dock last August and some scavenger stripped it for metal in the middle of the night? Darryl cut his hand cleaning up after them and it got infected, remember? No. Okay, anyway, the rest of it ended up in the coat room until finally Darryl was piling it into a big bag for the trash bars to pick up and he came across his box lost behind all the junk. Check it out. This looks old. Yeah, there's a bunch of videotapes and completed questionnaires. I looked up the reference number and it's never been processed. So I guess that's what we're doing today. There's no date on it. We'll just have to make one up. Unless there's some footage or of a calendar or something in there. Guess these are the old tests before we started doing the video exit interviews. That's annoying. Yeah, let's see. How do we do this? I'll run the tape. You interpret the questionnaire. I'll type it up. Okay. I want to exit though. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit here. I have to trust the developers that if I hit continue, it will drop me right back there. I cannot keep going with the length of this episode, so I'm going to end this as fast as possible. When I come back, we will continue that. I don't want to miss anything in this game, and that's why I do that sometimes, where I want to end the episode, but I'm afraid to exit out because I don't ever want to jump back into the game and have skipped forward a whole scene or something and I can't get back to it. But that's how you know that I really love this game. So if you really love this game, or if you just really want this series to be over so I can start a new one, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Support me on Patreon at the $1 tier or higher, and I'll be back very soon with another episode of Kentucky Route Zero.